Hole in a Box by C.S.R.
Chapter 11. First to Collect. Marla just stood by the bulletin, waving back at Barjoul until he was completely out of sight. Marla started to get really nervous. She had never been out on her own, not even in Homans. Marla knew there were some nice marags like Barjoul, Darline, and Javis that seemed to mean her no harm, though Javis was questionable. But then there were Fafalar and Mausam who had attacked her. Marla had no idea how the city of Aurum or even how the world of Utradesma worked and what the rules were. Was murder okay? Theft? Did humans have any rights? Did Smarags even have rights? All these questions filled Marla's head, and so she looked back at the bulletin to see if she could find anything useful that could possibly answer them. Then there it was, a packet pinned to the board titled Rules and Laws of Aurum City. Marla flipped through the pages and skimmed its contents. It seemed to be just like any law you would find in a first-world country in Homans, if not better. Marla, relieved, stopped her fretting and walked away from the packet and bulletin.
So, what now?
She asked herself, gazing at the dead city. No one was around and Marla had no plan. She knew she wanted to find Javis for sure. She had some things for him, but the question was, how?
Should I go up to the Smarags and ask if they know Javis Charisame?
She took a moment to think and started to practice.
What are the names of charmers you know? No. Do you know a charmer with a yellow complexion and black eyes like this?
She pulled out her drawing from her bag. Then she grunted and sat down on the fountain's ledge.
That's worse. Maybe I should ask by last name. But I don't know if Charisame is a popular last name here in Utradesma.
Suddenly, the city's bell rang, indicating it was 8 o'clock, and people started to pour out of buildings. Marla looked around in puzzlement as she watched Smarags of different shapes, sizes, and colors come out and fill the streets. Marla wasn't sure if she should stay or move, but being near the gods somehow made her feel safe. An incredibly tall man with a pale yellow complexion came and sat on the ledge of the fountain next to Marla. He didn't quite seem to notice her and appeared to be just sitting to take a break. He had big pointed ears and an equally long and pointed nose. All of his hair was sleek and very dark blue, matching his suit, and was slicked back in an old-fashioned way. His eyes were wide, but he had small black irises, which seemed to have taken notice of Marla's drawing.
My,
He began with the flowery voice.
that drawing of yours.
His eyes traveled to Marla's face.
It looks just like someone I know. Did you draw it?
Marla looked back into the tall man's eyes and answered,
Well, yes.
It's absolutely fabulous.
He smiled at her with perfectly white and square teeth. Except for them being flat rather than sharp, his grin was the same as Javis.
Actually, I'm looking for someone. A charmer with the last name Charisame. Do you know one?
Well, as a matter of fact, you just found one.
The man extended his long fingertips towards Marla in a friendly gesture.
Luin Carissime, at your service.
Marla took his bony hand and shook it, then immediately put her picture back into her bag.
But the question I have for you is if you're just looking for one of us in general or looking for a specific brother. For example, Javis.
Javis is exactly who I'm looking for. Did you say you were his brother?
Why, yes. I'm the youngest brother. He's the oldest. Did he bring you along, but you guys got separated or something, sweetie?
No, I mean, I came alone. All by myself, to be exact.
Oh, how special. Say, are you the Marla?
Lewin pointed at Marla's photo.
Yep, that's me.
People were wondering if you were ever going to come over here. Darline told me that she met you and said you had an interest in coming. That poor doll was so excited and worried about meeting you. Oh, I'm glad she got to, though.
You know Darline?
Oh, why, yes. The three of us, Javis included, used to hang out before Javis got involved with that new group of people he's with now. We all kind of went our separate ways. I worry about him, though.
Why? Whom is he hanging out with?
Oh, a shady bunch. I could never really get too close to them.
I know it's a bit off topic, but I'm curious. Why is there such a big height difference between you and Javis?
That's a good one. Our parents were like opposites. Our father was a very petite man, but our mother was a very tall and bulky woman. Javis and I took after our father's frame, and our middle brother has our mother's. Although, I am the only one who inherited mother's height.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Marla looked down at her feet to think of questions to ask. Lewin just stared at her with an inquisitive face, raising both of his thick, dark blue eyebrows.
Do you know where I could find Jarvis?
Oh, possibly. He's probably in the Black Depths.
The Black Depths?
It's outside of town. It balances the fact that there's no night over here, because there's no day over there.
Oh, so that's why it explains it's so bright, and it's past 8 p.m.
Yes! Why did you want to find my brother, might I ask?
I need to talk to him, and give him something.
Well, I could take you. Make sure you're safe and all. The Black Depths is a dangerous place. They ignore the rules over there and make their own.
You'd really take me? Even though it's dangerous?
Sure, why not? It's not so dangerous for me since I can practically charm anyone to leave me alone.
Not to ask for too much, but do you think you could take me to see Darlene afterwards too?
Oh, why, of course. That'd be easier. In fact, I can take you now. She lives right on the outskirts of town in a very safe and peaceful area.
I actually want to talk to Jarvis first, if that's okay.
Oh, I understand. I get it. Don't worry, sweetie. We'll talk to Javis first.
Thank you so much.
So, shall we go then?
Marlin jumped off the ledge and Lewin stood up, which seemed to be more effort since he was so much taller than the fountain. The two started to walk through town and were approaching the end when they found themselves in a market area. Marla suddenly caught the sound of two familiar voices conversing amongst themselves.
She's not coming,
The first one said, sounding frustrated. The second one responded,
Now, Malsum, don't doubt my powers of temptation. We will go back in the morning and see if she's changed her mind then.
Marla gasped as she knew exactly who this duo was.
Wait a minute. Do my eyes deceive me?
Marla turned her gaze to see where the voice was. Then, she made eye contact with Fafalar, who was wearing a tan-hooded cloak and holding a watermelon-like fruit in his hand. He passed it to Malsum, who was also wearing an identical cloak, and started to walk over to Marla.
Well, look who decided to come home.
He said coyly as he looked back at Malsum. Malsum put the fruit back in the stand and walked over to his partner with a grunt.
Do you know them, sweetie?
Lewin said as he defensively stepped in front of Marla. Marla lightly gripped one of Lewin's legs and answered,
Yes, he told me they work with Jarvis.
That's true, to an extent. He's one of the people Javis has been running around with as of late.
Marla then stepped in front of Lewin and started to talk directly to Fafalar.
Could you take me to Jarvis?
Fafalar grinned and said,
Sure, but you can't bring him with you.
Marla thought upon it for a moment and then responded,
Fine.
Good. Then come with us and we'll take you straight to him.
Marla started to walk off with the duo, but then Lewin called out.
Wait, Marla, I have a bad feeling about...
It's all right, Lewin.
Marla said as she faced him.
I'll be fine.
Marla gave him a painful smile and then followed Fafalar and Malsum to the outskirts of town.